Hi, guys. I'm Emily Hannah. Welcome to my podcast. And today we're going to be talking about long haul COVID. And I'm going to bring in two special guests, and I'm just going to be asking them what type of symptoms they have or anything about their experience with long haul COVID. So here we go. I'm going to welcome them in now. Come on in, folks. So then when you sit down, just introduce yourself. And also, this is filmed at the warehouse, just so everybody knows.
Just my name?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Natalie Thwaites.
And I'm Renae Schley.
Okay. Well, then we'll just get started with the questions. Let me pull it up here. So what symptoms did you guys have during long haul?
Okay. The main symptoms that I had were fatigue and body aches. It was a lot of like general symptoms that looked like cold and flu. And so that's what was the most like frustrating part was it was just like fatigue and body aches. But I did have some swollen and discolored joints. So like my toes would turn white and
Mine
then they'd be
too.
like numb.
Yes.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So it was really weird. And then brain fog. I just really could not think. And then I really did have like a lot of depression about it. I don't think it was from the long haul, but I think it was just because I was so sick. So I put depression just because it's kind of a symptom, but those were
I
mine.
think so too. How about you, Renae?
Yeah. So my strongest ones were probably the brain fog. And then I had neurological symptoms too, where like I had muscle weakness and like couldn't coordinate my fingers and spatial awareness was off.
Yeah.
And then the other main one was probably low oxygen, lung capacity, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mine, I feel like I had like all of the symptoms. It feels like the main ones I struggled with at the beginning were dizziness, and it was just like such bad vertigo. And I got on this medicine. I don't remember what it's called. It starts with an M, but it helped like a little bit, but it didn't really take it away. And I remember I had to like lay on my bed and do like these exercises where you like tilt your neck. And then nausea was like a big one, and I lost like 30 pounds, and I finally have been able to like get it back. But it was crazy. Maybe like 20. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. And then I also struggled a lot with fatigue, and like for a while, for the first like 4 months, I like couldn't even walk down to like my mailbox. So, and like getting out of bed was just really hard. And I was in like club volleyball at the time. So all like my teammates, and this was like right when it started. It was in November of 2020. So a long time ago. This was like right when it started, and nobody really knew anything about long haul COVID even being like remotely a thing. Yeah. So like no one even knew like what was going on. I just had to like come and sit and like watch practice, and everyone was like, "Whoa, why are you sitting out?" But I was like, I don't even know. Yeah. And so those, and I had like a lot of like hard time breathing and chest pain. And same thing with my like feet. Like it would just get like white. And then when I'd like get out of the shower or something, it would be like dark red, tingly, and I feel like I'm walking on like needles.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like your feet were like cold in spots? Like just one spot just on your ankle spot. Or yes.
I had like it was always my pinky toe.
Yeah.
Like just my pinky toe. Yeah. And it's my pinky toe still goes numb sometimes.
Yeah. Mine was always like the back part of my heel, and it would like be like white, and like the rest
Mine
of my
was
foot
like
would
the
look
top
normal.
of my ankle.
Yeah, that is so weird.
So weird.
I know.
All of it, I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
I know.
Like, it's so random.
It's just random weird symptoms. And so those are like my main ones. And then how long did you deal with your long haul COVID? I started it in November of 2020, and then like it just got over. Like so probably like I'd say like December it ended of last year. So 2022.
Over
So
a
it'd
year.
be like 2 years, probably like 2 years and like a month or something. So how about you guys?
So it's really complicated, but I had COVID like at the very beginning. It was like April of 2020, and then summer I felt fine, and then my symptoms, my long haul symptoms hit in September of 2020 when I was at school, and then they got better after I got vaccinated April of 2021. So it was like 8-9 months. I don't know, I can't do the math, but something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Renae?
So I got sick the first time with COVID in June of 21. And then my symptoms lasted until the spring of 22. So around 9 months. Like I still have some lingering.
Yeah.
And then I had COVID again in October 2022. And it was just like a normal illness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I first got COVID, like the very first time when like all of this started in November of 2020, like COVID is just like, we're like, wow, this is like a joke. Like it was just nothing. And then on the like 10th day, my like throat closed. And then my mom and dad both had COVID, so we couldn't like go to the hospital. Cause then that was like the time where like everyone was like, no one can go in the hospital, only one person. But then it's like, then they literally had COVID. So like I couldn't go in, so we were like on the phone with Children's Hospital like the whole night. And yeah, it was super weird. And then it just started after that. But then I got COVID again, like literally like a week after my 2-year like anniversary. And I was like, no, like it's gonna get worse or something. But it actually didn't. And it like God just like completely healed me after that. And my doctor, Dr. Roeder, was saying that it might be a blessing that you get it again because of the like spike proteins. I don't know all the details, something about spike proteins, and yeah, after that, like God just literally healed me, and I haven't had like, I mean, like my chest hurts like a little, like something, but like maybe that's just like acid reflux or something. So I haven't really felt any like long haul symptoms after that. And then how many doctors do you think you've seen, and what type, and did they help you at all?
All right, I wrote down the list. I saw 2 primary care doctors, 1 infectious disease, 2 rheumatologists, a long haul COVID specialist / pulmonologist, and an allergist. So
Dang.
7. And none of them found anything. Like there was nothing that indicated any other illness or anything. I wrote down I was tested for 250 things with blood. I had a CT scan, ultrasounds, chest X-ray, all of it. They helped, I guess, by narrowing things down, but they didn't find anything. So that was like really discouraging. But yeah, so I went to 7 doctors and we didn't find anything. So.
I feel that. How about you, Renae?
Yeah, so I went to 6 doctors. I saw 2 general practice, 1 long haul specialist at National Jewish, and then Dr. Roeder, who's a DO, I think. Yeah. A naturopath and a chiropractor. And the only thing I was like officially diagnosed with, because I refused a lot of testing because I just didn't want to do a ton of testing, because a lot of people I knew who were going through this process got all these tests and got no results, and I didn't want to go broke paying for tests, and so I sort of shifted to like more of a natural approach to see if I could get my body stronger and see if it would kind of take care of itself. And so I mean, I was diagnosed with like asthma related stuff. I was diagnosed I also saw a dermatologist because I lost most of my hair, like 80% of my hair, and I was diagnosed with what's called TE. I think it's like telogium effluvium or something,
something like that.
and it's like a stress response. So my oxygen was extremely low, my organs were starting to like malfunction and fail, and so your body like takes resources away from things like hair and skin. And so then a few weeks after all of that, my hair just fell out in clumps for months. So
that is insane. I don't have like a list of all of them, but I know I saw like 10 or 11, and none of them, other than Dr. Roeder, like, I mean, they like tried, and it's not even like their fault. They just like, it's just such a new thing.
They just don't know.
And
like it's so new.
Yeah. And I went to Dr. Olin at National Jewish, which is like supposed to be like the best place like in the world, or like at least the US. And we did like the like scope through your nose, and then you run on a treadmill, and you said you had done that too. And that showed that I had like breathlessness disorder, which is like I'm like hyperventilating and I don't even know it. And so it's like I'm not getting enough carbon dioxide. Like my carbon dioxide level was at like 14 and it should be at like 40 or something. Like it was crazy off. And so then I started having to like go in and do different like breathing exercises, which I mean, like, they can only really help so much. And I don't really think, like, that was the main issue. Like, it wasn't, like, he, like, thought it was all, like, stemmed from breathing, I think. Which, like, because hyperventilating and breathing like that, like, can cause, like, fatigue and stuff like that. But I don't really think it, like, stemmed from that. Because even if when you, like, helped that, like, the other things didn't go away. You're good. And then I went to Dr. Roeder, and then I started ivermectin, which helped, like, while I was on it. But then, like, on the last day, like, or, well, like, a day after I had, like, stopped taking it, then, like, all of my symptoms, like, worsened. And then I was like, what's going on? And then it, like, was fine. And then we tried to get back on it, and then it was just, like, a super bad reaction. So it definitely did help, but then it was, like, it helped while I was on it. So, like, I don't really want to be, like, addicted to ivermectin. So then we got off that. And then, yeah, other than that, like, the doctors just didn't really know. Like, they tested for, like, a bunch of things and nothing really came back. Except I do have dysautonomia, which is, like, a lesser version of POTS. And so then I tried taking, like, salt supplements and, like, just, like, a bunch of supplements. Yeah, pickles, which pickles actually did help. When I was dizzy, I would eat a pickle.
That was
no,
me.
literally.
Well, I would take it for, like, I was dehydrated, but I would drink like a gallon of water a day. My body wouldn't, so I would eat pickles.
Yeah.
It would hold the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And that was, like, honestly, like, the most, like, helpful thing, literally, like, throughout the whole thing. Pickles, everybody. And yeah, I would just eat one when I was dizzy, and I would get, like, from, like, a 10 dizzy level to, like, a 3. So it was, like, actually helped a lot. So that was funny. But yeah, I mean, a lot of doctors, and they just didn't really, like, know, which is not even their fault. But were you diagnosed with anything? I guess we kind of, like, went over that, but just the dysautonomia and the breathlessness. And what was one of the hardest moments of the long haul journey? Why don't you start, Renae?
Well, the hardest moments for me were, like, during COVID, when, like, that 10-day shift, where my whole family got it at the same time, and we were tracking and they were getting better. And suddenly I was not, like, I was very sick. And, you know, that whole, like, are you being dramatic? You know, but for me, like, the lowest moment was probably the first time I felt like I might die from this. I don't know if I can do this. Yeah. And then the other low moment was probably maybe within that first month of realizing I'm going to have this for a while. And one of my trips to the emergency room, like, I had no strength. I couldn't hold my phone. I couldn't write and take notes. I couldn't stand, and I didn't want to live like that. Yeah. And just that moment of I don't want this life. And I was with my son, and I told him, I'm like, if they don't help me today at the emergency room, you take me to the nearest cliff and I'm done.
No.
He's like,
stop.
Shut up, Mom. You're being dramatic. I was like, I don't want to live like this.
Know.
But yeah, it's just like you don't want to accept the reality of it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. How about you?
There's, like, 3 things. They're really similar to that. But I think that's partially where my depression came in, was like, I'm not going to live like, I don't want to live like this. Like, it was so hard. So I think just feeling hopeless, because for me, there were tests after test after test, and I'm like, they're not going to find anything. I lost all hope. So that was hard. And then this kind of goes with the other one, like, all the normal results, like, everything was normal. And I'm like, am I literally going crazy?
Yeah,
like, I'm literally making this stuff up. Am I, like, thinking myself into pain? Like, I was so confused. So that was really discouraging, because I'm, like, starting to get in my own head, and that's not what I wanted. And then the other one was, I was a sophomore I was a junior in college, and I had to come home from Nashville to be with my parents, because I couldn't even live on my own. And I felt like I was missing out a lot. And I felt very different, and I felt very broken and very, like, flawed compared to other people, because they all were just, even though they were living in a COVID college experience, I was living at home by myself, or, like, with my parents, and just, like, I don't know, it was just, that was probably one of the hardest things, was just feeling like I was missing out on life, because you can't function. Like, that's just the way it is. You can't function. So yeah.
No, literally, I feel like that was like I felt like the same way. I went to play college volleyball at Arizona Christian, and I like had to come home, and it was just like so sad because it's like all of my friends, like you'd see like their posts, like they're all having so much fun. They're like out dancing or doing like things, and it's like I literally couldn't even do that.
It's not an option.
And
You just can't.
Yeah, and I had to move back home and stop volleyball, which was like so heartbreaking because I just love volleyball. And so it was like I got like volleyball taken away from me. Like all of these friends I had just made that I thought were going to be like lifelong friends, like I probably don't even like talk to them anymore because we only like really got to know each other for a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like I've never been like a depressed or anxious person, but like through this, I don't know if it was like a side effect from it or if it's just like from the trauma of it, like getting depression and anxiety. Like I would just have like such panic, like, and it was like my friends like asked me to like go to the Grizzly Rose, and I like couldn't even do that. Like line dancing, like it's not hard, like and nobody understands that, like unless you're going through that. They're like, it's literally dancing for like 2 hours, like chill, bro. And I'm like, no, you don't get it, because I couldn't even walk to the mailbox a month ago.
Yes.
Like, and so it was just like the trickiest part was like trying to explain it to like my coaches or my friends or my teammates or my teachers in college. Like none of the teachers understood it, and the reason I really went home, like I thought I was going to try to do it like online in Arizona, like as much as I could, and like just stop playing volleyball for the season, like still be on the team, like, and then maybe start again. But they like wouldn't let me like zoom in unless I have COVID. So it was like, even though I'm like having these like COVID symptoms, like since it wasn't like a positive COVID test, I couldn't zoom in. Like I had to be there in person. So then like I kind of like had to drop out, and like I just needed to go home. And then like, yeah, that was like the hardest part, was like dealing with like how do I even like explain this to people, because like for a long time even like the closest people to me were like, this is in your head, like, and it's not even their fault. They were like trying to like calm me down, but it's like, this is in your head, like this is just anxiety, like you're having a panic attack.
Yeah, like I got that too, where everyone had a different answer.
Yeah.
Like to what it was.
Or people are like, have you tried this? I'm like, I've been to 7 doctors. Yeah, I've tried
Yeah,
it.
like tried everything. Yeah. And so that was like probably like the lowest point, is like losing like a lot of people because of that. And like people like would be like, oh, well, why are you going like to do a photo shoot, but you can't come to volleyball practice? And I'm like, well, like I just stand there for this, but like that is like, and it's like I can only handle like so much of so many things. So it's like I'd go to like go out to get dinner or something, and it's like that was already like too much. So it was like when I'd go home, I would be exhausted, and I'd literally go to bed at like 8:00. I'm like, I'm hitting the sack, I'm so tired, like, and I usually like would stay up late, but I was like, I'm so exhausted from like literally like going to the fridge. So it was like so weird. And yeah, so I definitely get the like anxiety part of that. Like people, it's just really hard to like explain it. And then I was like, it was like I even wish like I had something terrible at some points, because I was like,
I just wanted an answer.
Yeah,
like,
I was literally like, I honestly might even hope that this test comes back positive, so that like I can like start telling people like, this is what it is. It's not long haul COVID, it's this. Because it was like embarrassing. Like I have long haul COVID, even though no one believes that this is a thing. But I think like people are starting to like get it a little bit more, because now like a lot of people, even from like the vaccine, are getting like these like effects from it. What was the most concerning symptom you had?
For me, it was the neurological.
Yeah.
And I went to the emergency room one of the times, and they were like, well, like I couldn't lift my arms and use my hands. And I remember I just kept asking questions like, can you do this test? Can you? And the doctor finally looked at me and was like, what's your fear? Like, what do you want out of this? And I'm like, my fear is that this is some weird COVID thing. I'm never going to get my arms back.
Yeah.
And he was kind of a jerk, and he's like, you might not. Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about this. And so that was the hardest thing, just thinking like, I need my arms. Like, I can't live like that. And then they gave me an emergency referral to neurology to get in the first appointment. And when they called me back to schedule it, the first appointment was like 6 months out.
Yeah.
And I just, because so many people
We're dealing with
were
that.
dealing
And
with
I didn't even know.
neurological. And I remember telling them, don't even bother scheduling it. Like, I'm going to figure this out before that.
Yeah. Facts. How about you?
I think as far as severity of my symptoms, my pain was very concerning because it was, so at first it only hit in the afternoon, and then by the end of it, it was consistent all day. And like, I have a high pain tolerance, but it was like a level 8 all day long. So I think as far as severity, but as far as functionality, fatigue, because I was like, I was what, 21, 20, I don't know, at that point. And I was like, I can't even get out of bed. Like, I'm sleeping so much. Like, I think it was like for functionality, the fatigue was scary for me because I'm like, am I ever going to bounce back? And I still get in bed so early. I haven't bounced back fully, like energy wise. And I don't know if I ever will, but I hope I will. But I think fatigue probably and the pain. So both maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that both. I mean, I think like the scariest part was like one of the doctors, I actually don't even remember which one, was like, I was like talking this through with them, like telling my symptoms, and I was like, I think it was about like the dysautonomia, which is like a part of like the fatigue. Like, it was just like I literally couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't pick up anything. Like, I had lost like literally so much knowledge. I was like so skinny. And then they were like, I was like, so do you think like this will ever like go away? And she's like, no, I mean, I think this might be a lifelong like thing. Like, and then I was just like, oh man. And I would just like pray and pray and pray that it would like go away, and thank God that it did. But like that moment where they're like, well, this might like actually be your reality, and I'm like, I do not want to feel like this every day. Like, yeah, with the pain level, like some days, most days, like my nausea would be like, I literally can't do anything. I can't eat. That's why I lost so much weight, because I couldn't eat anything. And even like still to like now, like my like just appetite, like I'm not like as hungry, just because like my stomach probably like literally shrunk because of like how I didn't eat as much as I used to. And yeah, that was probably like the worst part. It's just like, well, will I ever get over this? And then it's like I try to have like faith through that, but then it's like, well, maybe it's God's plan. Like, I don't know, because like, and I think it wasn't like God doing that, but like he like made something great come out of it. And that's like why I wanted to do this podcast, is like to show like God did heal me, and like it did happen, even though like I like doubted so much. And like hopefully this can like help other people in their doubting. Like, don't lose like faith. Like it can happen. God is good. And then when I would like sing, I like am a singer, and I couldn't even sing like a song without like getting so dizzy. Like, we have this piano at our house, and I would try to sing a song, like just one song, and I like couldn't even make it through. And I'm like, okay, I have to go lay down. Like, I just like would get so out of breath, and because with the like breathlessness stuff. So it was crazy. And did the people around you doubt that the symptoms were real? Like, I guess we kind of already talked about it. Yeah. A lot of people doubted it. I hopefully like with this and like with more like information coming out, like people will begin to like understand it. But it's just hard, and it's like they can't really understand it. I don't even blame them really, because it's like they just won't get it until you like feel that.
Well, I found that it's hard for me to explain it too.
Yeah,
so
me
if
too.
I can't even explain it,
Yeah.
how are they supposed to understand it? Because I'm like, yeah, I have body aches and fatigue. They're probably like, yeah, I felt that too. Like, you're fine.
Yeah,
so
you're just sore from going
I'm
to the
like,
gym.
it's
like,
more than that though. But like, if you can't explain it, they can't understand either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's really hard.
Yeah, and that's why I was like hoping to get like even like a bad diagnosis, which I'm glad I didn't. But like in the moment, it's like I want it to be like something so that like
There's an
people can know that it's real, and that like they could look it up and be like, oh, here's the symptoms for this, like so that like people could like actually know and understand. But like it's just so new. But maybe in like 20 years, like there'll be like a article on it. Did you take any medicine, and did it help?
I took pregabalin, which is like a pain blocker.
Oh.
My rheumatologist prescribed that because they thought that I had fibromyalgia,
Oh,
and
wow.
so my uncle has it. So they were wondering if I had that too. So I tried pregabalin. That helped for about a week, and then it just stopped helping.
Yeah.
And then I think naproxen. I looked it up, and it's an anti-inflammatory, and I'm pretty sure I tried that too.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember its effects, but I took
Yeah.
those two. Other than that, they didn't give me any other like medication. I wish I went the like natural way and like tried supplements and stuff, but I just kept going to doctors, so that's what I took.
Yeah. How about you?
So I did a little ways out of COVID. I also did the ivermectin. I was
Yeah.
hesitant to do it, but
Me too.
man, I wish I would have done it so much sooner because
Yeah.
it was huge for me. It got
Good.
me over the hump. And then the second time I got COVID, I had it on hand and took it immediately, and I think
Yeah.
that's why it was more of a normal
Yeah.
illness. But I went the like supplement route, and I took a lot of like antiviral and anti-inflammatory herbs and stuff because what I've learned is that COVID causes a lot of inflammation, which then causes all these symptoms. And so the anti-inflammatories were huge for me. I did a lot of like gut health, like probiotics and digestive enzymes. And then for the brain fog, I did like CoQ10, and then I did NAC.
Oh, yeah. I
think it's
tried that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was huge for like my lungs because
Oh,
I had
good.
matter in my lungs
Yeah.
for months and months and months. I just kept getting x-rays and it just wouldn't go away, and they didn't know what it was. And so the NAC is what finally cleared that. And then the thing that gave me my energy back was the CoQ10, and I take this mega dose of B vitamins.
Yeah.
And I still take that now, and
Yeah.
that stuff's incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
I take that too, and I'm like, ooh, I feel like a whole new woman.
Yes.
I know. Yeah. Well, yeah, I took the ivermectin, and I kind of already touched on that. And then with the like depression, anxiety stuff, I'm on Lexapro, but like I don't I don't really know if it's like working for me. But now that like I'm over long haul, it's like I do feel like so much less depressed about it. But now it's just like getting back into things. It's just like so exhausting.
Yeah.
But I have like so much energy than I used to, and I feel that like when I go to the gym and like actually work out, I feel so much better and I like have so much more energy. And I did like PT through it all, and I think that's like a thing that also really helped was like just like like forcing myself to get active. And I had a really good physical therapist, so that helped with that. And yeah, nothing too crazy because they didn't really like know what to prescribe.
I was gonna say too, like the exercising, and you were
Yeah.
with Roder also, and he told me like your body, you're gonna feel like you can't exercise, but you need to
Yeah.
reteach your body to exercise. So I had to
Yeah.
exercise with the pulse ox on,
Yes.
and I had, like it has to be at this number, and if it goes below, so I'd like run on the
I would do that
elliptical
too,
for like
yes.
4 minutes, and it would drop, and then I'd have to sit for 5, and then I'd get back on, and it was
Oh,
like
well,
this whole
yeah.
retraining of your heart and lungs.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy. It's like hard to like comprehend that like we actually went through this. Like thinking back like through like all of these questions, I was like, wow, I like kind of forgot that even happened, because it's like people just don't get like how traumatic it actually was. Like it's crazy. What was something that helped with your symptoms?
For me, 3 things. The medicine did help for a little bit, so I guess that helped. That gave me temporary relief.
Yeah.
Resting, literally just listening to your body and what it needs.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a pusher. Like I push myself so hard, and that's not good for your body when it needs the rest. So
Yeah.
I think rest and then moving my body. I did yoga, like really, really light yoga because I couldn't run or anything.
Yeah.
So I did like yoga and like really light stretching and just like moving your body because like the doctor said, like you have to keep yourself moving or else you're just going to get weak, and you just got to keep yourself moving. So I think those things for me.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the biggest was probably the ivermectin and the supplements, and then time. Really, I feel like your body needs time, and I think like our psychological state can really affect our progress too. And so, just like processing the trauma really, and
Yeah.
getting to a point where your body can focus on itself. And then, like any movement, like even, like when I was very sick with COVID, like in those first like 3 or 4 weeks, I lost just all muscle tone. So
Yeah.
I was on oxygen, and my son set it up to where I could like move the entire length of the house on this one strand of
that's
oxygen,
so awesome.
the tube, and it would reach. We have a hot tub, and it would reach the hot tub, and so I would get in the hot tub and just like move in there, just literally just like extend your arms and legs, because like it was so hard to do that just in the house. But just movement.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's just like so like it was just so difficult to like move and like start that, and it was like mentally too, like to make yourself do that. It was like I don't want to, like I'm so tired.
Or what if like you mentioned going to the mailbox? I remember my first trip alone to the mailbox. It's like 40 yards away from my house. But it's like, what if like I fall or pass out and the neighbors have to see that, and just the courage to do.
Yeah, I think the thing that helped was like forcing yourself to like exercise like to whatever extent that you can.
Yeah, don't push yourself.
Yeah,
do what you can.
I usually like push myself too. And then when I went to Arizona to play volleyball, we did like 3 a days, and it was like 115 degrees, and we didn't have air conditioning. So it was like I pushed myself like way too hard, and then I felt like I was actually like on the road to getting back to normal. And then I went there and then did the 3 a days, and then the heat, like all of it just like pushed me back, and then I just started feeling so much worse. So it's like I had to like figure out the like right amount. And then when I went to PT, like we just started off like really slow, and it was like, why am I sore from like riding the bike for 1 minute? But it's like you like just have to start out slow, and that's like the only reason that I felt like I was starting to like get better when I still had long haul COVID. Like it was just like being able to do that was like so important. And what are you still dealing with? Like, are you still dealing with anything? If so, like what symptoms?
I feel like my body's just still really tired.
Yeah.
So I think that part I'm still dealing with, or maybe it's not like as bad, but I think I haven't like recovered completely from that. But like I don't have pain as much anymore, and I'm so glad, like so blessed. But yeah, I feel like every once in a while I'll have like this one really weird symptom, and I'm like, that's probably COVID. But other than that, I'm actually doing a lot better. So praise God.
Yes.
I still have like the smell and taste issues.
Yeah.
There's certain things I just think I may never get back. Like a Coke tastes awful.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'll ever get that back.
That's like me with sour cream.
Yeah.
I'm like, it just tastes so gross. I feel like I'm not really dealing with any of like the symptoms that I used to have, but it's like the fact that like my body went through that, and it's like I still need to like take it slow. And it's like some people are like, oh, you want to work out with me? And I'm like, yeah, but like I'm gonna have to like cut it in half. And I started like only doing like 1 rep instead of like 3 reps of 10. So it's like, so you just like had to like monitor how, and then it's like I feel like the most important thing that I learned through that was like listen to what your body's feeling. Like it's not in your head. No. Yeah. Like your body's actually feeling that way, and listen to it. Like don't ignore it. What would you tell someone dealing with long haul COVID?
My first thing I wrote down was listen to your body. Like literally just listen to it, and don't doubt yourself. Like you probably are feeling those things. Yeah. The other thing was give yourself grace. It's not your fault that you're feeling this way. It's just the way that it is. Give yourself time. Like you said, it takes time. Yeah. It does. It's just
as much as you don't want it to.
It's so new to us that like we can't do much about it. So give yourself grace. And then I don't know like if the listeners are going to be Christian or not, but just like find purpose in your pain. Like I truly believe that a lot of what I've gone through, God has allowed all of this to happen because I'm literally here sitting and sharing my story to encourage others. And I've seen that in all of my mental health issues, all of my physical health issues. It allows me to relate to other people. So there's purpose in my pain, and like just lean on God, or just like I guess lean on yourself if you're not Christian. But I just think it's really important to lean on like the fact that there's good that can come from it. Yeah. And you just have to it's not easy in the middle of it, but you have to find a way to make it through.
Yes.
And so I think just like finding purpose in that and allowing it to be something that you're going through, but it's not like the end of the world. You'll get through it and find purpose in that, because then it helps you kind of push through. It's like, okay, there might be a reason I'm doing this. Let's keep going and see what that reason is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
I guess I would say I would just want to share like hope, because I think especially when you were going through it,
Yeah.
it was so new. And when I was going through it, I also felt like it was very new, that doctors, a lot of them didn't have hope that we would get better.
Yeah.
And so we didn't. And I think like I'm the kind of person where if I don't like a situation, I'm not going to take no for an answer. And I just would, if you're going to tons and tons of doctors, like switch it up, go to some natural doctors, just keep trying, keep looking for answers. I feel like you can find an answer. I think our bodies are capable of getting past long COVID. We just have to find the right fit, and it's a lot of searching, but I don't think it's hopeless. So
and you can tell that all of our journeys are different already.
Yeah.
So just because this doctor said no or couldn't find something doesn't mean that another doctor might not.
Yeah.
Because I went to a rheumatologist and they kind of had some answers where if you went there, that wouldn't really make sense for you guys' symptoms. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you both. Like just finding like hope to like get through it. And like looking back on it, I wish that I would have like, and there's like this song like Praise You Through the Storm, and it's like I just found that song again, and I was like, I really wish I would have like praised him more through the storm, and maybe like I would have gotten through it like sooner. Maybe I don't know if that's like was God's plan, but like I would have been easier nonetheless. So it's like I wish that I would have just accepted that this is how I feel right now, but like I have faith that I'm gonna get through it, and it's not gonna be forever. Like, and it's like, like that's what the doctor said. Like it might be like a forever thing, but like don't take everything that they say to heart, because they don't know everyone's body. Like everyone is different. Obviously this is like the only like two I know, like maybe one other person with long COVID, and we all have different like stories about this. And so it's like, just know that like you're not alone, first of all, because there are other people dealing with it. That was like my hard thing, because it was like so like soon and early that like I actually like just didn't know. And I don't even think like the Facebook like groups were up back then. So it's like I really was like, I don't even know, like, because we didn't even think it was long haul COVID at first, because we were like no one had even said anything about that. So yeah, just have faith, like trust that God will get you through it, and like it's not forever. And one more thing about like go like keep trying different ways. Like I think that like taking vitamins like had helped me too, at least get like energy to like do things. And I went to a naturopath doctor, and it's kind of funny because they did all these tests, and they told me that I had babesia, which is like a form of malaria. And I was like, I live in Colorado, like I haven't been out of the country, and they thought that I like had that, and they were gonna like start me on these like machines that like shake you. And it's like, don't listen to that unless you've been to like Africa in the past like month. But so like there are some things that like do listen to your heart, listen to like what God is telling you. Like I'm so glad that we like didn't go that route. But do like try all the things that you can, because one of them might be the answer to like what you're needing. Do either of you guys have anything else?
Hang in there.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
You can do it. Yeah, I think that it's really just important also to, I feel like, talk to someone about it. Like, because I thought like therapy for me like also really helped, because like they just want to like help you through that. And it's like I'm super like glad that my mom was like, she was the one who was like doing all my doctor appointments, like everything, because I couldn't even like mentally like look into that because my brain fog was so bad. And I had like to get through like my senior year of high school. And so it was like, and she had to call me out like every single day. or I had to like Zoom. Like I couldn't do anything like fun with my friends when they asked me. But it's like find like that good like group of people that like do understand and they do want to help you.
Well, and an advocate like your mom was, because like I remember going to doctors where no one could come because of the restrictions, or being in the emergency room alone, and they'd come in and give you this summary, and like I can't even process what their name was. I'm still stuck on that, you know, because you like just have someone sharp and with it and just there to take notes at your doctor's appointments, or look at the articles. I know like I looked at everything I could get my hands on. I bombarded your mom with resources. And
good thing you did. She
it
like read
overwhelmed
through all
us,
of them.
but it helped us find new things to explore.
I remember one time I was doing like the stress test with like the tube down your nose and you had to run on the treadmill, and that was like during the point where like my mom couldn't even come in there with me, and I was so anxious about it because like obviously you'd be anxious about that. Like that just sucks to get like a tube down your throat, and I couldn't run on the treadmill. Like that was at the point where like I couldn't walk even down the street. And so that was like the point where like I felt God the most like I ever have in my life, like because I walked in there alone, but I didn't feel alone at all. Like I didn't even feel like anxious. And so that was like that's why I think like faith is just so important. And like because I just would not have been able to do that without God. And so I think like finding like a good group of people, like my family had just been like so helpful through that, because I literally couldn't like think to read. I didn't read one article, literally.
Oh, me neither.
So like my parents just read through them all. So like it's just really good to have that when you can't think straight. Yeah. Well, if you are going through it, know that you're not alone, and if reach out, comment anything, and we can respond to you. And thank you for watching, and we'll be back for other videos. Thank you. Bye.